Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we started the first trial day of episode 5, and we went up against the former detective, aka Cough-Up Queen, Angel Starr, who apparently witnessed Emma Sky's older sister, the defendant in this case, Lana Sky, having committed a murder against a detective from the local precinct, Bruce Goodman. She claims that she saw him being stabbed by Lana Sky in the parking lot of the prosecutor's office. And, well, we've pretty much done a very thorough job of calling her testimony up until this point into question. But before it looked like as though I'd get off the hook and be allowed to go on my merry way to continue my investigation, we discovered towards the end of the last episode that there was some kind of unknown evidence in the car muffler of Edgeworth's car, which is what Lana Sky was actually alluding to when she was apprehended by Angel Starr, when she repeatedly said muffler, rather than the scarf that she was wearing around her neck. So, right now, they're in the middle of trying to recover what is inside the car muffler, and while we're waiting, I guess we're going to talk to Emma about everything that's transpired here up until now. So, let's just go ahead and get that started, and see if maybe we can catch a break here for the later half of this trial. February 23rd, 11:56 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Are trials always like this with you? Yeah, pretty much. It certainly doesn't make life boring, that's for sure. Like you're swimming up from the bottom of the lake, about to reach the surface. But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there. That seems pretty accurate, until I actually get there. Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon is a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. Now, I wouldn't be quick to write it off just yet. Let's at least see what it is before we decide to call it insignificant. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner! Hello, cowboy. Did you have a good conversation with the cactus today? They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall. Seriously though, what a dumb name. Officer Marshall. Like, you might as well just be saying officer twice. Thought I'd come take a look, see how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What's going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? I don't know, it could be related. And you let me worrying about other people. You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now, don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze below at her slender neck many a time. Saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the awards ceremony that afternoon. Edward's seen it too, I reckon. Yeah, well, that doesn't really mean shit to me. Just because she was wearing it right at a ceremony that, what, took place probably hours ago before the supposed murder? I mean, okay, so maybe she was wearing it earlier in the day. So fucking what? What does that mean? In a photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. I repeat, so fucking what? Maybe she just forgot it. At least that's not what I would argue, if I were in your shoes. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Well, maybe she wasn't mistaken if she saw her earlier in the day. Anyway, it's about time for what, cowboy? Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. You don't need to tell me that. Ugh. I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee! I'm sorry if that was too high-pitched for your ears. I don't mean to make anybody's ears bleed. I blame Officer here. February 23rd, 2:32 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. I'd like to resume. You seem terribly confused right now, Santa Claus. Would you like an Oreo cookie? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. And Edgeworth looks to me like he's constipated on Oreo cookies right now. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. I know. It is painting. It is award material, this image. Someone should make a painting. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over. Your back is bent. It can't be! This can't happen! Wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well, maybe we'll find out if we just shut up for a minute. Well then, I believe it is time we continue on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. You sure are Captain Obvious today. Excuse me. Knock, knock. Who's there? I was wondering when you'd show up. What's with this guy? A strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the room. Does he not look like Zeus from Hercules? Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. He's probably running a really high fever. Somebody should probably get a doctor then. Who on earth is he? Well, he certainly got he certainly got the sinister part of the sinister organ theme down to a natch or to a T. Probably a really friendly guy, if I had to guess. Ah, it's you. Oh. Oh. Yeah, fear not, it's not the game glitching out. He just likes to stare. Sorry I'm late, Udgy. The roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see, Udgy? Udgy? How you been? Swim much these days? Ah, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy! Busy smizzy, Udgy, my boy! You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Udgy. Seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Thanks? So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? Don't you mean unworthy? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly! I wouldn't mind a trip to Miami Beach, to tell you the truth. Little worthy? Mr. Wright! You don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. He certainly got the stare of a top officer, doesn't he? Name's Gant. Damon Gant. He's even got a demonic-sounding name. I totally trust him. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's Worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I'm looking at him real hard, believe me, and I'm enjoying it. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. Well, okay then. I guess it's relevant after all. But to think it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On Little Worthy's car, no less. SL92 is what that little tag says. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief! What kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vile piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature is there. Miles Edgeworth. That's not fair! On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah. The court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Oh boy, I get to do a favor for the Udgy. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Sure you can! You just get a little blood on the handle. Don't be a wimp. Plus, you gotta admit, a bloody gavel does sound kinda cool. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Sure you can, feeny weeny. You can just simply fling blood at people when you point at them. Wouldn't that be cool? To blind people with finger blood? Come on, just hurry up and open it. Fine. You know, I could have gone to it a lot faster if you let me do it. There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6 of DL6 incident fame. But it's strange. Huh? What is? I'm not certain. But I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this. Or letters that looked a lot like this. Somehow. And don't worry, I know which letters you're referring to. Shame I can't really pop up the evidence that you're thinking about right now, because, well, I kind of realized what you were talking about around this time as well. Once I thought about it for like 2 minutes straight. Or was it a minute and a half? Well, either way, I knew it took me over a minute here to realize what was so familiar about it first time I played this. And that blade is broken and has blood on it. Wah! Don't scare me like that! You were the one who told me to freaking open the goddamn knife. Shut up. I'm the one who's scared! Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. And this dark red stain. Blood? Switchblade knife. Found at a crime scene wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I'd like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police? And this knife. Sure! Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one. Really. I don't feel like it's a little problem when you say it. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. Time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? So, a crime occurred right at the same exact time that Goodman was supposedly murdered in the prosecutor's parking lot. Interesting, for sure. It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, Udgy. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Objection! Wait a second. You said 5:15. Yes. It's basically a few minutes behind when you showed up at the prosecutor's office. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order! 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 Anyway, we at the department were all aflustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright, 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim. Scientifically speaking, of course. If the 2 cases are indeed related, maybe. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Yes, sir. Okay, Demon Man. What do you got for me? Sorry, Damon Man. Excuse me. Special? Mm-hmm. Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else. Might that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Righto. But I can't say that now. Not that. We've established that the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? That's quite a mystery. And like a mystery, it's wrapped in something. A muffler. Typically, they're wrapped in enigmas, but, well, whatever. There are exceptions in every rule. Or so some people think. So, unless there's a connection proving, well, you know, connection between this knife and Goodman. This knife was found at the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go out on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto. Maybe there's something about the knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine that knife while we can, Righto. Don't call me Righto. Evidence that links this knife to Detective Goodman. Well, remember Emma thinking that the letters on that tag seem familiar? Well, I'll give you a second to look over this particular page of my court record and see what it is that she could be referring to. Because, well, I will present my evidence in just a minute. I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that's had me stumped all this time. So how are things down at the department? That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation, so tell us about that before I move on. Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp! Hungry! So, something did happen. Why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy, what with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened to the police department that day? A detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot. Another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator. Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested. That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. I suppose I could help. If you help me by giving me data on your case. Ooh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Okay, so one thing and one thing only. Where the victim was found, how the victim was killed, and when the victim died. Well, asking when the victim died is pointless, because he's already established that the victim was killed at 5:15, the same exact time that Goodman was supposedly killed. So if we're going to ask him anything, we should either ask where the victim was found, or how the victim was killed. So, he says that that a murder occurred at the police department. But what he hasn't really said was where exactly in the police department the victim was killed. But what hasn't been established at all was how the victim was killed. So if we're going to ask him anything, we could ask how the victim was killed, because that is the one thing we know the least about at this point. So I'm going to ask how the victim was killed. Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It was what we in the force call a stabbing with a knife. A knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit. We're cooking now. But that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death. Seems like I'm going to have to press this a bit harder. Okay, then let's go back and press. Alright, now let's ask about where he was found. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room. You wouldn't know about the evidence room, would you, Wright-o? I can't say I've heard of it. I guess I should ask again once I learn a bit more about this evidence room. There's something stranger about this than the place where the body was found. I'm going to go ahead and ask the final question here, just for the hell of it. Just in case it turns up something that we could use. When the victim died. So, when did the murder of the police department occur? Now that's a sharp question, Wright-o. Very sharp. Well, my boy, you're going to love this. Yeah, I knew it was pointless to ask. I just had to be sure. 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling. But I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked to your case, so I can't talk much about it. How can you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Wright-o. You understand. Try to understand, Wright-o. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together. Whatever it is, I better find it and get to the bottom of this. Two detectives were killed at 5:15. One at the prosecutor's office, and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. What was it doing there? I better check this knife out. So the fact that we got two murders that supposedly occurred, it's kind of like what we saw in the opening cinematic with this chapter, where we saw two silhouettes holding up a knife and then just plunging the knife downward. So it kind of served as foreshadowing for this in a way. So... yeah, I know I'm kind of delaying showing the evidence I've been alluding to a bit here, but I kind of... okay, I can't look at this thing. But I can look at this tag again. There's a small tag on the knife. It says SL92. What's that supposed to mean? I'm not sure. But it reminds me of a similar code. DL6. Maybe it's a case number? That's weird. What? I don't remember where, but I think I've seen something like this before. Something similar to what's written on this tag. It wasn't that long ago either. Maybe I should check the court record again. Alright, so remember the evidence that I'm going to present? Well, here's your final hint before I present it. Now look at the tag again. Got a good look at it? Okay. Now, let me present my evidence. Goodman's note. Wait a second. At last! An honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Aha! An honest-to-goodness, what do you mean for Mudgy? This is great! Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here, we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S. 12/12-2? Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside... The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around, and what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing as written on the knife's tag. Order! Order! Well, Chief? Oh, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto. What do I win? I... win? What game's this guy playing? This knife was evidence in the case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. And a murder occurred right in the evidence room. As you pretty much revealed to me with my questioning. So... let's press on this. So this knife was stolen. Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice! 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 Good show, little worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. Okay, so... let me just press on this statement again and try to inquire about the evidence room. Again. Actually, wait, I pressed the wrong thing. Let me try this. Connection. Understand. Okay, maybe I gotta present evidence here, because obviously I can no longer press on the statement that I got those answers from. Now, what I'm trying to think is, what do I present here? The note or the knife? I'm gonna try the note. And I made a mistake. A horrible, horrible mistake. A mistake that will get me penalized. The pain. Okay, I was just pressing on the wrong end statement. I'm an idiot. So, let's talk about where the victim was found again. So, where was the victim found? Evidence room. Wait a second. I've heard of that. The evidence room. Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? We don't need a flashback. We just saw this. There's a connection between the two cases. There's a connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Officially linked, so let's try pressing this now. Chief. The defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. Heh, you don't say. Well, I'll outfit Righto. What's your connection? Yes, outfit Mr. Wright. The connection is a place, mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. We also know that the detective murdered the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. Don't ship me with Edgewort. I don't want to catch his warts. It took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Then your squad is incompetent. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? And why not? If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, guess might as well try to get what I can out of him. So, he's not going to tell us the victim's name outright, but what we can ask about is the victim's division, the victim's ID number, and the victim's gender. I don't really think that asking for the victim's division won't really tell us too much, I think. And the victim's gender, well, I don't really see how that's relevant. I don't really see how you can say that's relevant to the case at hand either. So, what I'm going to ask is for the victim's ID number, because I want to check it against the Goodman's ID. And you'll see why in just a second. Okay? How about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 5842189. And Goodman's ID is 5842189. So, tell me, Demon Gant, how is it that my victim ended up getting murdered at your place and the prosecutor's office at the same exact time? Does Goodman have a twin? Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 8, 2, I can't do it. You got the first 2 letters wrong. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? It tells me everything. And nothing at the same time. The ID number of the victim at the police department, 584219. This tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Well, I know, so don't worry, you don't have to think. You just gotta do what I say. Meaning, it has to be what I think it is. What does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? It tells me this. Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. Yes, he is. And now I can't get that image out of my head. God damn it, Santa Claus. No, it's just I got confused. And this is news. Fuck you, Edgewort. Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing. Like you all always do. Don't tell me what to do, Edgewort! The police department. The prosecutor's office. 2 places. 2 detectives murdered. At one time. And they're all the same person! Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh! Is it yours? No, Your Honor. I'm a defense attorney. Remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Righto! Personnel IDs are top secret! Well, yeah, shame on Righto here. Because even though he wasn't the one that actually picked it up, he allowed the person who picked it up to pick it up and pocket it. So he is complicit in theft of top secret information. Sorry, Phoenix, but the law is the law. If you get arrested for this, I gotta testify against you. Detective Goodman's ID number is 58422189. And this means what exactly? Why are you people so goddamn slow today? Huh? Wait. That ID number we heard from the chief earlier. Yes. Get that noggin joggin', Judgy. That started with 82. I forgot. And the train derails. You were so close, yet so far. You didn't even get the first number right. Again! The number the chief of police gave us was 58422189. Objection! Wait a second, Wright. What is this? Mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh! Oh! Sharp as a tack, Righto. Sharp as a tack. But wait! Detective Goodman is our victim! He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet, a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. In the evidence room. At the exact same time! That's impossible! So what you're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time? And in a completely different location? That's what it seems like. Order! 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 Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine. But I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now, just a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? That was a sinister smile that you had there for a brief second. You fill me with complete confidence and trust in your character. Why would I ever entertain the idea of doubting you for anything? I mean, you're the chief of police, for God's sake. The oversight. The grave error. Mr. Edgeworth. They're yours. What? How dare! We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? Yeah, him. Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait. Aha! Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I got your report, sir. You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me! He said the report had nothing to do with the Lost Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman, murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. Gah! Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error. A gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. Objection! But sir! You could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence! Then no such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law? Ah, yes, evidence law. That law that never really mattered all that much at all prior to this case. As far as gameplay and story was concerned, anyway. But, well, since that's pretty much the entirety of this game, well, yeah, well, whatever. I've already beaten this horse to death. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Now I'm gonna get arrested for horse murder. Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Well, it's, Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. this report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection I just made. The connection was just proven by Wright over there. Good job, Wright, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! Now, calm down, Wart. It's okay. Maybe you can salvage this. It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy. Boy, of all those rumors. You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. If it's the last thing I do, you'd better get results this time. Really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I'll grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, utterly humiliated in court, with my help. I kind of feel sorry for him. But then I remember all the jabs that he's made to me throughout this entire trial so far. And then my sympathy greatly wanes. Dickhead. But it's okay. I'm not one to hold a grudge. For very long. So, we got one additional day to do an investigation as to what's happened. Edgeworth is going to be, I guess, looking into the connection between what happened in the evidence room and in the parking lot, and, well, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing too. It'll be pretty interesting to see how we can connect these two cases and, well, determine how Bruce Goodman was killed in two different locations at the same exact time. Maybe Goodman can teleport. Or maybe the killer. Or maybe, actually no, wait, teleporting would have nothing to do with it. He would have to duplicate himself or get a twin involved. Whatever. We'll get to the bottom of this probably in the next episode or in the next several episodes, because honestly, I really doubt we're going to get to. I think we pretty much established at this point that we don't truly get to the bottom of things in this kind of game until the final trial day, where we finger the true culprit in court until he spills the beans. That sounded kind of sexual. I'm just going to go ahead and shut up now. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. If you did, and if you want to see more content, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.